Ranieri, and I am a ninth grader at Northport High School. You should know that I have a developmental disability called autism. I have come a long way in life, and I could not talk in the beginning, but now I am able to express my message to you in words. When I was 5, I cried a lot, and I would throw myself on the floor when I got frustrated. I'm proud to say that now I can speak clearly to the best of my ability to try to deal with my frustration in words. I feel like the decision made by the person at Northport High School to suspend me for 2 days was discriminatory on the part that I have autism and the fact that she thought that what had happened was not a result of my autism. This whole incident happened when I tried self-advocating for myself after my resource room teacher did not implement my IEP and behavior intervention plan. The day before this...
Christian, could I interrupt you 1 second, please? I understand what you're saying. I just have to ask you to please understand that boards of education are unable to legally, both from the federal and the state, to discuss student disciplinary actions in public session.
Christian?
So I would ask you to please be careful as to what you're saying. It's something that the board cannot entertain in public session.
Okay, Christian,
all right,
tell
please.
him I understand.
Okay?
All right.
I appreciate that.
Okay, continue.
Continue.
I'm sorry about interrupting you, but it's important you understand that.
This whole incident happened when I tried self-advocating for myself after my resource room teacher did not implement my IEP and behavior intervention plan. The day before this alleged incident, we had a meeting with my mom, my dad, my resource room teacher, the school psychologist, and my assistant principal. At this meeting, I told them that my reward system had not been put in place, and I had been in school for almost 1 month. Ever since the beginning of high school, I have had to self-refer myself to the assistant principal because certain teachers would not allow me my accommodated seat on my IEP. In history, there have been people who've had to fight for a seat. One that I know of, and many of you people might know of, was named Rosa Parks. At that time, her civil rights did not afford her to sit in the front of a bus. As a result, she was arrested for not giving up her seat. In my case, my civil rights gave me the opportunity to have a special seat because of my developmental disability, and yet I find myself having to fight for it. My parents have explained that you are the ones who decide who manages my IEP, my accommodations, and my behavior intervention plan. The person you chose for me did not do her job and has accused...
I really, again, when you talk about individual members of the staff, this is inappropriate for a public session.
There is no identification of any such people. You have multiple vice
I'm
principals.
going to ask your son, please not make references to individual staff members. And in any case, this almost entire discussion, which involves disciplinary objections, is totally improper for a public session.
Okay, so what do we do when our letters are not responded to?
The procedure is if you take it to the building level, or then you take it to the superintendent level.
We did, and she canceled the appointment and never rescheduled.
I cannot get into a debate and discussion about your son's individual situation, nor can I get into a debate about the disciplinary action in a public session.
But we're not asking for interaction.
He wants you to hear him. That's all he's asking. This is not a debate. He wants you to hear him.
The appropriate audience for that is with the superintendent or with an appeal to the board, but not in a public session.
Okay, so what you're saying is he doesn't have the right to come and present to you.
I am saying that
As a
you
member
may
of the
not,
community, he doesn't have a right
the boards
to
of
do that.
education are prohibited from discussing.
But we're not discussing.
This isn't a discussion.
This is a presentation here with regards to a disciplinary action, and it is improper. I'm sorry. Please, Christian, I understand your situation, but you have to understand that we are legally limited in what we can discuss in a public session.
But we're not discussing.
You are not giving the superintendent an opportunity to discuss it. You discuss a private, personal matter that only should be discussed, not in public session.
Okay. So, are you telling us that he cannot finish his,
Speech? He just wants to, he wants you to hear what transpired.
he doesn't want any interaction?
He's,
He's not naming anyone?
It sounds to me like this entire discussion is talking about a disciplinary action that occurred.
No, that's
Or,
not
or
what this
it's
is.
talking
That's
about
not what it's about.
individual
That's not
staff
what this is
members.
about.
Excuse me, or it's about individual staff members, their actions or non-actions, which are inappropriate to be discussed publicly.
okay, when would you like us to discuss these?
Because when we tried reaching out, security escorted
We were escorted out of this building. We asked to come and speak to the
Did anybody
superintendent.
escort you out of the building tonight?
When we attempted to go to the appropriate person, the superintendent, we were asked to leave.
I would like to respond to that. What we were asked to do was to make an appointment.
And we did.
May I finish, please? You did meet with the assistant superintendent as well as the director of special education, who informed you of what to do. You have sent me a letter where you'd like to appeal the decision, and I have 10 days to respond in writing. If the appropriate channels are followed, which means you go through several layers before you come to the superintendent, and now I have received your letter, and your letter is under review. So we are acting in accordance with the law, and matters of student discipline, according to federal and state law, are not to be discussed or mentioned in public.
By you, not by him. He's a citizen.
He's a citizen who's here to say whatever he'd like. This is not a discussion between the board and my son. This is my son presenting to the board. This is not a discussion.
You have turned this into a discussion. It was not
That was not our intention.
We were not.
He just wants to be heard. There's no rhetoric.
Let it be heard.
Can I get advice from board counsel on this topic?
The discussion should not contain any comments regarding the student disciplinary hearing or the process that's now pending before the superintendent. If there's going to be matters discussed that are outside of that, either directly relating to this gentleman's position as he was speaking about his specific circumstances that do not speak to student discipline or matters that would otherwise should not be discussed regarding student-employee and teacher relations, then those can proceed. However, if it has to do with disciplinary proceeding or with specific tasks of the employees of the district, they should not be intervened.
So you are not letting a 14-year-old person in your community self-advocate. Is that your position?
I think I've tried to make myself
Because it seems this is the only
clear.
forum where
I've tried to make
anyone
this-
is willing to open their eyes and ears.
The Board of Education is precluded from federal and state law from having a dialogue and a discussion with regards to student disciplinary action. All right?
Christian, read the last line. Let's get started from the now. Read that and that. That doesn't talk about anything else.
Well, I met with a psychologist at my home, and during our conversation, I realized that people needed to hear my story, and that is why I decided to do this. The Self-Advocacy Association has taught me one very important thing, and that is nothing for me without me.
Thank you. Good job, bud.